and explain the new education policy to us, we have two eminent educationists, Ms. Aarti Chopra, Principal, MIT International School Sector 46, Gurugram, and Ms. Dhriti Malhotra, Director Principal, Manav Rachna International School Sector 51, Gurugram. Sector 46, Gurugram. I would now like to introduce Ms. Aarti Chopra. She is a dedicated educationist with over 28 years of experience as a teacher, mentor, trainer, planner, skill developer, and a tireless worker for the cause of children. She is an alumna of Lady Shri Ram College, Delhi University, with a master's degree in economics and business administration. She has been associated with a number of leading institutions and currently heads MIT International School Sector 46, Gurugram. For over 14 years as the principal, she has been the torchbearer in integrating technology with education and has also been renowned for displaying excellence in problem solving, instructional design, strategy, and academic planning. Honored by Microsoft, British Council, and a number of leading universities and functionalities for tirelessly amalgamating technology in the learning process, curriculum development, and for bringing about excellence in academics, she's a lead runner who inspires and trains educators for all-round development. I welcome Aarti, and my dear friends, I would like to share that today we are not going to debate or discuss on whether this policy is right, what are the good points or what are the areas which have been left out. The main purpose of today's webinar is to simplify new education policy. What we want to share with you is that before you go through the entire document, it's a document with a number of chapters, we would like to simplify in simple terms and explain the policy to you. But my dear friends, I would like to share with you that after this session, definitely go through the policy in detail. It will be easier for you to understand. And if you have any queries, please post your questions on the chat window so that at the end of the session, we are able to take some questions. So over to you, Aarti. Please start with your session.
Ma'am, please introduce the other speaker as well. Fine. Very good evening, all of you. How are you all feeling? I hope the tempo is good and you all are set to learn something new. Yeah? So it's a great field to address so many academicians all together today who have come to know something more about what is this new education policy, isn't it? I hope my screen is visible nicely to everyone, right? So during this about 1 hour duration that
Aparna ma'am, I think Aarti's got disconnected.
There is some electricity issue. She is just joining back. This is Dhriti Malhotra, Director Principal, Manav Rachna International School Sector 46, Gurugram. She is a Director Principal in this school with almost 3 decades of rich experience behind her She has earlier held the reins of different schools, Ryan International Vasant Kunj and Scottish High International School. She believes that every child is unique and born with inherent talent which needs to be groomed and polished. Mrs. Malhotra has initiated special education needs department in all the schools wherever she has led. The inclusive education program aims to integrate students with learning disabilities in mainstream education and addressing their needs so as to bring out the best in them. Her passion for education and innovative teaching, meritorious work in the field of social welfare, Indian culture, music, dance, and art has been rightly recognized, and she has been felicitated with the Progressive Principal of India for the year 2017, Vidya Shri Award, Avantika Dr. Radhakrishna Samman, Best Educationist Award, the Best Principal State Haryana Zone, Best Mentor Award, and many more. I welcome you, ma'am. And now, till the time Aarti is done.
Yes. So, yeah, I just thought I'd talk to the audience, and I wanted to know how many of them have actually read the NEP. And I think there are a lot of webinars happening almost every day. There are so many versions of NEP coming out, which has which I feel is really good. You know why? Because I think earlier, in spite of our passing that big 500 pages or whatever pages to everybody, I am very sure none of the teachers would have read it clearly. So this and I think a lot of them would have heard our honorable Prime Minister today in the morning when he addressed and he talked about the NEP. Within 20 minutes, he gave the entire summary of what NEP stands for. So,
I can start now.
yes, Aarti, you can take over now.
Right. Thank you, and sorry for the technical glitches. You see, this is something that is beyond us. Well, so the new education policy, and here it is before you all. I must tell you that today, as ma'am has already explained, that whatever we are going to talk, me and Dhriti, this is an interpretation of what the government has already published. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Today, right. So how this policy is going to be further implemented, how it is going to be executed within the schools, it is yet to be seen. Today, we are going to understand the draft of new education policy, which has come after 30 years. As you know, it is drafted by the committee led by former ISRO chairman, K. Kasturi Rangan, a very bright individual. And there has been such a lot of discussion with parents, students, all of us, that we all feel that, yes, we have gone through the stages that the policy has taken to get its fully new and final form. Its first draft was released in 2019 for public opinion, and then it received lots of suggestions. As you know, the education sector is now, after this policy, going to get 6% of GDP, which is an enormous leap, as earlier it was just 1.7%. This policy is modified after over 30 years. And it is important for all of us to understand that now there will be a national assessment center for school education, which is going to check and have their own opinion on how the schools should function. If you have a quick glimpse over the history of this policy, 1968, Mrs. Gandhi's government announced its first national policy on education in 1968, which was based on recommendation of Education Commission. 1986, Rajiv Gandhi, the Prime Minister that time, he launched new education policy focusing on adult education. And now in 1992, modifications of 96 national education policy under P.V. Narasimha Rao government added a common entrance examination for professional and technical programs. After 92, it has got launched now in 20. Actually, it was completed in 19 itself, right? So this is a brief story about its inception. If you look at the principles of the policy, they include flexibility, life skills, integrity, and transparency. So it's very important that we understand how flexible it is, I'm going to explain, briefly about there are no hard separations between what are the subject streams that the children are going to take. One big question that children have after they reach 11th. It's multidisciplinary, it's got formative assessments of learning, it's got respect for diversity and respect for the local context. And various life skills that it has covered. It's beautiful. It's got conceptual understanding, creativity, critical thinking skills, equity, inclusion, teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process. The ethics and the human constitutional values are at its core. As far as the integrity and transparency is concerned, it's light but tight oversight of the regulatory systems. It's got good autonomy and good governance in it. Empowerment, outstanding research, as well as continuous policy making. It makes education as a public service. And that is so important because even HRD ministry is going to be renamed as education ministry. The vision. As you can see, what is that you all think is the vision? Before we go to the vision, I would like us, Mr. Sudhir, if you could just launch the poll 1. I would like all of you to participate in this. Yes. So he's going to give us all a question. And I would like to see how many of you are able to give the answer that could lead us to think that how is the policy getting interpreted by educationists. Okay, so Mr. Sudhir, are you going to launch it? Yes, there it comes. Here is the first poll in front of you. New education policy in progress. You have to give the answers. Do you think that the new education policy has laid emphasis on global best education system based on Indian ethos? Well, I have a fantastic answer, but only 18, 23, 24 people have answered, and they are saying yes. We have a lot of other people who are saying can't say. So I think by the end of the presentation today, they will have also formed their opinion. So I'm going to, can you all see the results now? Dhriti, you can see the results? Here I share the results. Can you all see the results now? Okay. Can somebody answer, please?
Yes, yes, we can see. We can
Great.
see.
So I've got
96%.
people
Yes.
saying that, yes, we do think. So I'm stopping to share the results, and I'm just going to move on to the next slide, which is about the vision. Vision is exactly what is being explained, what I have just asked you. The national education policy aims at building a global best education system, which is based in Indian ethos. There is a highest youth population in the world over today, as you all can see on my slide, over the next decade. And there is a prediction that rapid changes in the knowledge landscape with the rise of big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence is going to happen. We cannot stop it. There is quick changing employment in global ecosystems, and children not only learn, but they're going to learn how to learn, which is again so very important. The new education policy is going to help reinstate teachers at all levels as the most respected and essential members of our society. It is going to help us recruit the very best and the brightest to enter the teaching profession at all levels, right? So this is something about the education policy, which is so important for all of us to understand. So the vision of the government while they were making this education policy is keeping the values of India at the core. Our Prime Minister, not only him, all of us feel that yes, transforming the curricular and pedagogical structure is so very important. Look at this structure. This is the basic backbone of our new education policy. We have got right at the beginning the foundational stage. At the foundational stage, you can see there are 3 years of Anganwadi or preschool. which used to be earlier 2 in some places, but it's going to be 3 only now, followed by 2 years of grade 1 and 2. This complete 5-year formula is for the foundational school. I think most of us are already doing this. Then we come to the preparatory, which is class 3 to 5. Grade 3 has got a lot of importance, as you will see later. And then we have 6 to 8, ages 11 to 14, and then grade 9 to 12, which is ages 14 to 18. So compared to the previous academic structure, the new pedagogical and curricular structure is little different. And we are expected to understand it and follow it. Another very, very important thing that is happening, it is going to be, this education policy is emphasizing at reducing the dropout rates. That earlier, the dropout rates in India, as it is the figures given by UNESCO, is an estimated 6.2 crores children of school age between 6 to 18. They leave the school, whereas now our aim is, our mission is that 100% gross enrollment remain. For this, the solution is strengthening and expanding the existing infrastructure. So the new education policy is not just for schools like ours, which are well-to-do schools, but it is for all the people of the country. So it's important for us to understand that this dropout rate must reduce. Remediation and re-entry of dropouts, children who have fallen behind, there'll be a policy for it. NIOS is going to offer, not only in grade 9 and 10, but right from grade 3 onwards, there will be a distance learning program at all levels, so that people who are living in far and remote areas, they could also benefit. So allowing alternative models of education, gurukuls, pathshalas, madrasas, homeschooling, these are the areas which are going to gain importance now. Now, look at the ECC framework. Now, what is this framework all about? Early childhood care and education, the foundation of learning. ECCE stands for Early Childhood Care and Education. Now, this has got many facets. It ideally consists of flexible and multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, activity-based, and inquiry-based learning. Standalone Anganwadis. Now, when we talk about Anganwadis in our schools, it is play schools, the way we talk. Pre-primary section covering at least 5 to 6 years. Standalone preschools, all of which would recruit workers, teachers, specially trained in the curriculum of ECCE. So it is early childhood care and education, which is going to form the foundation of learning. Probably government had never paid so much attention to these early schooling, but we were probably some of the schools were already giving it a lot of importance, but now it is going to be government's drive. The age of 5, every child will move to a preparatory class or a Bal Vatika, that is before class 1. And teachers with 10+2 qualifications will do a 6-year certificate program. We'll be talking about teachers' education also a little later. So this is all about early childhood care and education. And I'm sure this has given you a fair insight into what we are talking. And this is going to make things more clear when I move on to my next slide. And I'm going to tell you about early education. There's something stuck with the... Yeah. So I was going to tell you about, early childhood education. It's so very important for you all to understand that the foundation of literacy and numeracy is a very important component. So dear listeners, as you all know, over 70% children in class 3, they do not have the basic read and arithmetic skills. This is the condition of our country. No wonder when we talk about ranking, India was 77 when we sat for PISA ranking in 2008. I hope we do a better job now in 2020 and 21 when we go for it. So various surveys have indicated that 5 crore students in elementary school have not attained foundational literacy and numeracy. Therefore, there is a need for us to revamp the system and bring about highest priority of the education system to achieve universal foundational literacy and numeracy. So for this, what is the government going to do? There is going to be a national repository of high quality resources on foundational literacy and numeracy, which will be made available in the National Teachers Portal. So there are many things that we are announcing, but they're going to be formulated and implemented in due course of time. Some of them in 3 to 5 years, some of them in 10 to 20 years. Another important thing is that there will be digital libraries that will be encouraged. The public and school libraries will get expanded. The technological interventions will happen to serve as aids for the teachers to be piloted and implemented. The highest priority of the education system will be to achieve universal foundational literacy and numeracy in primary school. As you know, our government is highly influenced at the moment by PISA ranking. And then in PISA ranking, one important component is reading skills, the mathematical skills. These two skills, they are the main skills which are integral component. So therefore, when the surveys were done, it was found right up till class 3 children were not able to read. So good reading, good numerical skills, and digits are going to be integral component of this policy. So early childhood education, if you see, this is what a brain looks like, and these are the various parts of the brain. They say that over 85% of children's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. This age is extremely important. Whether we want to develop their curiosity, logical thinking, art, craft, music, relationship with nature, you can see clearly left side of the brain and right side of the brain. You can see that it is the logic. The left is the seat of logic. All of us have left and the right hand side. And it is the integration of left and right domains which form the holistic learning. So government has recognized all these things which we, the facilitators of workshops, used to read about it in various books. It's become part of our policy now. So that makes us feel really very important that India is, it's raised its own benchmark. The team collaboration, play-based and discovery-based learning, the ethics, the self-identity, etiquettes and behavior, they are all on the right side of the brain, the creative side of the brain. Look at the pedagogical transition, which the policy talks about, starting from foundational age, that is before 3, and then the preparatory age, 3 to 5, the middle age, and then secondary age. In the foundational age, I have already explained, and preparatory, it is formal but interactive classroom learning. Introduction of textbooks, very light ones. Books or textbooks are not given too much of importance, including reading, writing, speaking, physical education, art. Now, physical education, art, you will see there is such a lot of integration in all over. There is a lot of recognition to the languages, to logical thinking through science and mathematics. The middle ages, introduction of subject teachers for learning, discussion, abstract concepts. The secondary group is multidisciplinary study. This word, multidisciplinary study, multidisciplinary angle, is again and again coming in the new education policy. So we must understand it. What is a recommended pedagogy? There will be variable models for board exams. They can be annual, they could be semester, they could be modular. So this is the flexibility that the government is giving to us, that the schools can choose a semester system. Now, whether we can choose or we have to apply, or there are certain conditions that need to be fulfilled, all those things we need to see later. But there is a definite flexibility between art, science, humanities, languages, sports, and vocational subjects. Vocational subjects are given a lot of importance because working with hands, experiencing with their own hands helps to make, it helps the cognitive development of the brain. It registers the facts, facts are registered faster for a longer duration. So competency-based learning as well as the assessment tools will be aligned with the learning outcomes. What are learning objectives we have been working with? There's a lot of emphasis in the last 3 years about learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are what the child can project and showcase, to the public. What, to the public means to the masses, to the others, what he has acquired in terms of learning. So there has to be a match between the objective and the outcome. Experiential learning is going to be integral component, 360-degree holistic report card for students. That is something interesting we as educators will have to see. Overall, there will be a reduction in curriculum. Already 30% they've done for this year. Even for the next 2-3 years, there are talks that there is going to be some concrete plan that's going to come up. So there will be core essentials. There will be critical thinking, interactive classes, as well as experiential learning. That's going to be integral component, and curriculum and pedagogy. See, for everything, they have given us time. Look at this, that by 2022, They're going to have integral and pedagogy will be transformed to promote skill-based and minimize rote-based learning. It's a gradual process. We need not panic that, oh, something new has come and we have to bring about a change immediately. Not at all. The revision of NCF for school education and NCF for teacher education, by 2021. So we have enough time to mull over it. Now here we would go in for another poll. Now I would like all of you to play another poll with me. Mr. Sudhir, if you could roll the second poll, poll number 2. Right. Yes, this is, yeah. The question is, do you think bagless periods to work on vocational pursuits is a workable idea? Now, what is this bagless periods? Those who have heard would be able to answer. So I've got 22 people who have already answered. Yes, and I hope you all are able to see the results. Sudhir, I think you've already shared the results. Great. So, Dhriti, you can see the results, poll results. Fine. Great. So we have 98% people who are saying yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So we have shared the results also, and you all have answered in affirmations. Let me explain to you what is this bagless period about. So the government has, TK, we can stop sharing now. Sudhir sir, thank you so much. So the middle school, let's talk about, we've already spoken about ECCE and grade 3 to 5. And in grade 3, there is going to be a written examination. So that continuous and comprehensive evaluation that we all were doing, it will continue. The formative assessments will continue, but in grade 3 and grade 5 and grade 8, there will be proper examinations so that we are able to ascertain the level that the child has reached. A practice-based curriculum will be there for grade 6 to 8, and NCERT is going to design it, and all students will participate in a 10-day bagless period, sometime between 6 to 8, wherein they are going to do internship with the local vocational experts such as carpenters, gardeners, potters. I think many of the good schools were already doing it in some way or the other, but it's going to be now part and parcel of our policy. So like there is nationalization of education. Everyone will do these kind of things. So then it will be good for everyone. Internship opportunities will also be there for children from 6 to 12. Knowledge of India, that has taken the main part of, this complete policy. It will include knowledge from ancient India to modern India, like how the civilizations came up, how did they build up, how we had people from outside come into our country and erode some of our systems. Introduction of contemporary subjects such as artificial intelligence. All this is part of the skill-based subject. If you see the circular, it came up in the month of April itself, when even the middle school is asked to opt for certain skill-based subjects, which is free of cost. For that, we don't have to pay anything. In that, all these subjects are lined up: design thinking, artificial intelligence, and all these subjects. The children can opt for. Mathematics and computational thinking will assume a great importance. Internship opportunities to learn vocational subjects will be there. National Committee for Integration of Vocational Education will be called Lok Vidya. So there will be a separate plan for the gifted students. Now, this is something very interesting. The gifted students are going to have, a separate set, because we used to earlier hear it that the other countries, we had this kind of a pattern when the gifted children were given more importance and there were separate schools for it. But now even our government is going to make a policy on it. Reforming the examinations in grade 9 to 12, which will include board exams. Board exams will be made much easier now and will be viable models, as I've already told you, teachers to be prepared for these transformations. Beginning with mathematics, all subjects could be offered at 2 levels. They're also talking of twice in a year, the child can choose when to appear for his exams. The secondary school will have a lot of flexibility of choices. There'll be no hard separation between curricular and extracurricular or co-curricular, or between arts, humanities, and sciences. That's what they are imagining, that now a child could opt for a history, for accountancy, along with physics. So we're going to have tough time making timetable. Let's see how this gets implemented. Physical education, the arts and vocational crafts will assume a main seat. Annual semester modular boards I've already explained to you. And the exam pattern would have 2 components, objective and descriptive. I think with the coming of MCQ type of questions, we are already into it. It will be more structured now. What is this multi Multi-Lingualism. That is, there will be lots of choices to study languages. Minimum 3 languages the children are already studying. But apart from mother tongue, they are saying now one more Indian language will be compulsory. Teachers will be encouraged to use a bilingual approach, that is, make the child comfortable, make the child learn in the way and the fashion the child wants to learn. Teaching of different languages, it will be experiential, and languages will be enhanced with the reading and analysis of uplifting literature from the Indian subcontinent, which is so beautiful. Every child, this is another new thing, remember, from grade 6 to 8, the languages of India, the child will be doing a project on the languages of India, which will not be for assessment. Indian Sign Language will be standardized as well, so that children who are able to hear will benefit. Various other skills like science, temperament, creativity, innovativeness, oral written communication, health and nutrition, physical well-being, collaboration and teamwork, as well as problem solving. The textbook with local content and flavor. The textbooks to contain only essential core material while capturing any desired supplementary material. It will be, going local as well as global. So it will be both things. They will be connected with the local norms of India as well as going global as well. The teacher education, there will be a 5-year integrated B.Ed, 4-year integrated B.Ed, wherein we have minimum degree qualifications for teaching that includes student teaching of local schools. They can be 2-year B.Ed, they can be 1-year B.Ed. So there are different combinations that are given. Teacher education will gradually be moved by 2030 into multidisciplinary colleges and universities. So colleges and universities will come closer to schools and there will be more integration. That is what Mr. Modi has spoken today as well, which Dhriti will throw some light on. So improving teacher education is all about having teacher education programs to be conducted within the composite multidisciplinary institutions. There will be stringent action against substandard standalone teacher education. There will be national testing agency that will be giving the admission to B.Ed. So it will be more structured and more good people will join B.Ed. And already we have good teachers who are working with all of us. Teacher eligibility tests at all stages will be strengthened. The school principals as well as teachers, they will have to work for at least 50 hours, that is CPD modules, that is training modules will be made compulsory for all of us. I have a question now. Poll 3, Sudhir sir, the last poll for today. Can you please share it? The teacher education will be, there will be various other platforms such as Swayam and Diksha for online training of teachers. And through these portfolios, through these platforms, the teachers can do online learning. The question is, do you think it is feasible for school principals or teachers to work for 50 hours on CPD modules every year? What is CPD module? CPD is nothing but it is compulsory, professional training. So compulsory professional training is going to be made compulsory for us for 50 hours. I have, 77% people saying yes. There are 3% saying no, and 20% say we can't say that. We don't know how it will be like. Once it will come to us, then only we will know. Thank you so much, all of you, for giving the contribution in this poll. We can end polling and I can just move further. Yeah, okay. You want me to share the results? These are the results. You can see for yourself. Highest is yes. We all are not afraid of getting trained. We love it. That's what it shows. So let's move further. So sir, you can close it now. Yes. So this is about teacher training, and I think it has become very clear that high respect for teachers and the high status of the teacher's profession must be revived and it should be restored. So they are going to come up with a robust model. Transforming the assessments for the student development is extremely important, because it actually showcases that the guidelines that will come from NCRT, teachers will be prepared for a transformation for this NCF, and this will come in a staggered manner. Grade 3 examination would test basic literacy, numeracy. There will be another exam as well as in 8th class. One common exam conducted by National Testing Agency. It will be high quality common aptitude exam, and it will cover languages as well as science, humanities, and commerce and vocational subjects. The standard setting and accreditation will also happen SQAF by SCRT and NCRT. That is, getting accreditation and getting regulatory information will happen through a proper channel. The holistic development of learners has been given a lot of emphasis. The inclusivity is very much there, as it was always there, and efficient resourcing and efficient governance through school complexes like sahodiyas as well as hubs of schools and the clusters is nicely mentioned in the new education policy. Reimagining vocational education is at the core of it. So I think all these points certainly make some portions of our policy. I think the more we read it, the more we understand it. It's very important that all of us, it cannot be completed in half an hour, because there is a lot more to it. I would now request Dhriti ma'am to take over from here and let us hear, the rest of it.
Yeah, thank you, Aarti. I think by and large, what you talked about is very, very directly connected to the teachers who are listening to you, to the principals who are listening to you. I will just touch on a few key focus areas, wherein the policy also talks about focus on socio-economically disadvantaged groups. How till now there was a certain segregation, right? Yes, the government was trying to give us students through the EWS category or things like that, but there certainly was a demarcation. But now they wish to frame separate strategies to focus attention for reducing each of the category-wise gaps. You see, the SEDGs would be the children who could be transgenders also, who could be from the scheduled caste also, from the villages also. So that is the main. And to ensure equity, they are going to add a few KVs and JNVs. They're going to recruit counselors. They're going to give fee waivers to them. Then would be the problems and recommendations regarding ECCE, foundational literacy and numeracy access, enrollment and attendance will be targeted in a concerted way for this group. Now, what has happened is we see that they start with the basic education, but somewhere down the line, they move away from, basically to streamline them. Then special mechanism for children belonging to tribal groups will receive quality education. Then there's going to be a focus on attainment of learning outcomes of children belonging to the ST, SC, and OBC. We I lost connect. Am I there?
Yes, you are
very
back,
much.
ma'am.
Okay, all right. So the next feature, the focus is on teacher education, where they feel that naturally teacher is most important. You know, as Aarti also said, I was hearing out our Prime Minister, and he quoted Dr. APJ Kalam, that the purpose of education should be to give skill and expertise, right? And enlightened human beings can be created only by teachers. So teachers, we have a great responsibility. We have a lot to do. And this policy also talks about teachers being grounded in the Indian values and languages and traditions, which will be again very, very important. The teacher education institutions will be now taking multidisciplinary courses for the teachers, where the teachers would be exposed to different out it's going to be a 4-year integrated B.Ed program. And what else they're going to do with the higher education? Each, hello?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Hello? You can, okay. Each higher education institution will, in collaboration with government and private schools, to train teachers for the B.Ed. That is something very, very important. Another thing that is being focused on is integrating vocational education at all levels, right? So according to the 12th five-year plan, you will not believe less than 5% of Indian workforce received formal vocational education, whereas US had a 52%, Germany a 75%, and South Korea a 96%. So there is this urgency to spread vocational education in India. Till now, what was happening, vocational courses were being taken up by children mainly of the senior classes, right? 11th or 12th, or maybe by the dropouts who could not cope up with maybe the mainstream subjects, and they were taking. But now the vocational courses will be integrated right from 6th onwards. So, Lok Vidya, what you've already talked about, the knowledge developed in India will be made accessible to students. A practice-based curriculum for grade 6 to 8 will be designed. Then there will be national skills qualification framework will be detailed further for each discipline. Then the focus area based on skills gap analysis and mapping of local opportunities. So your skills and the area you live could be mapped also. And there would be courses from the different open and distance learning mode also. So by 2025, as already expressed, at least 50% of learners shall have an exposure to vocational education. Then when we come to the next focus area, which is catalyzing quality academic research in all fields through a national research foundation. What to think and how to think. As of now, what are we being guided? We are guiding, I mean, as per the policy, is training the children what to think. But the new education policy tells them how to think. Today, there is a big gap between education that is imparted and research. So NEP will work towards filling that gap. Research in the arts and humanities, along with innovations in sciences and social sciences, are extremely important, and they will be focused on. This policy also envisions a comprehensive approach to transforming the quality and quantity of research. See, as as I again said, he insisted, our Prime Minister insisted a lot upon research work. He says it is important that for the nation building, that other than a simple education, children also get into a lot of research, which will not only help them in their own development, but will in turn rather progressively also will help the country. I think, and then another focus area is transforming the regulatory system in higher education. See, what we have seen as of now, a vast difference between a government college and a private college, right? Now, why this has happened is because the power is within very few bodies, and there are always conflicts of interest. So to a regulatory system will be there to overall and re-energize the higher education sector and enable it to work independently. So that means the higher education will get more autonomy. Then okay. Yes. the distinct functions, to address of the higher education, like the regulation, accreditation, funding, and academic standard will come under one umbrella, which will be the Higher Education Commission of India, HECI, right? Then the first vertical of HECI will be the National Higher Education Regulatory Council. So again, there are going to be a lot of bodies. There are going to be a lot of regulatory bodies which will control and which will, I could say, supervise how the higher education is also going, because higher education will also play a big role in bringing out the best in children, where again, be it a skill based course or be it a vocational course, they will all be integrated, where the children of the higher education studying in colleges also will be expected to move down to the root level and get connected to it. So again, you see a lot of connection to what has been happening, to what has to happen, and how it has to happen. It is basically to connect the India urban to the rural is what a very strong feeling that even I get, And then, of course, then another focus is on effective governance and leadership for higher education institutions again. So this is, I'm only talking about higher education at the moment, because again, there will have to be a suitable system of graded accreditation and graded autonomy, and in a phased manner over a period of 15 years. So as Aarti already pointed out, these are changes which will not come in immediately. They will be phased out. They will have to be phased out, because we are used to working in a certain manner. Moving to the other platform will take time. And so there are timelines given for every implementation. All leadership positions and heads of institution will be offered to persons with high academic qualifications and demonstrated administrative and leadership capabilities, along with abilities to manage complex situations, which is again very, very important. Coming to the other key areas of focus are the professional education. That professional education will become an integral part of the overall higher education, and it will aim to become multidisciplinary institutions offering holistic and multidisciplinary education. And this will be integrated by, the timeline for this is 2030. So agricultural education with allied disciplines will be revived. Somewhere down the line, the agricultural education has gone down. I mean, agriculture is kind of vanishing. The villages are vanishing, right? So agriculture has taken a back seat. So that will be revived. Then a legal education needs to be competitive globally, adopting the best practices. Then healthcare will be given a lot of importance, and it will be re-envisioned, where every student aspiring to be, say, an allopathic doctor will also have the knowledge of yoga, of Ayurveda, of naturopathy, Unani Siddha, and homeopathy. So again, after going through the entire document, what I understood from this is bringing in a lot of making it very holistic, not centered, but holistic, where every aspect is being explored. So adult education and lifelong learning will of course have a lot of emphasis, where again, I'll just read out a few this thing, where the innovative initiatives that will be taken will be for adults with the help of community participation and technology integration. Then integration of education with HE, with higher education. So the higher education institutions will also make provisions for adult education. That is again something very, very important. Then technology-based high-quality options for adult learning, such as apps and online courses and modules, and satellite-based TV channels. Then online books, ICT-equipped libraries, adult education centers to be developed through government, right? So the adult education curriculum to include the following 5 types of program, right? Foundational literacy and numeracy, critical life skills, the vocational skill development, basic education, and continuing education. The next focus is on the promotion of Indian languages, art, and culture. Now, again, there was a quote by the respected PM in the morning where he said that it is important that education empowers students to be global citizens. Yes, to know a foreign language, to know everything about the whole world is fine. But you need to be grounded. You need to know where you live, how you live, and how other people live. So it will be very, very important here that everyone aspiring, for education, the education would promote the Indian languages, art, and culture. It is important that education empowers students to be global citizens, but they need to be grounded, as I said, and rooted in their own language, art, and culture, which is again a big focus in this policy. Then the of course use of technology and integration, where the Digital India campaign has already been launched and is helping to transform the entire nation into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. While education will play a critical role in this transformation, technology itself will play an important role in the improvement of educational processes and outcomes. So technology will, see, the biggest example is right now. How are we talking? How are we addressing each other? Through technology. It just did not take us much time, where probably we would have reached 10 years from now. What we would have done 10 years from now on, we've done it now. And within a matter of what? Maybe a couple of weeks, a lot of training, and there we are, all ready and set. So there will be a lot of integration of technology. Then, of course, you already talked about the artificial intelligence, virtual reality. So they will also be a part of online and digital education, ensuring equal use of technology. Okay. Just take a minute. So again, the technology, as the new circumstances, again, have brought us to a platform where education has become digital. We are imparting digital education right now, which will again be a main focus, rather an important focus in the new policy. And they could be blended. They could be blended learning also, a use of technology as well as your regular learning, your regular physical classes. So online and digital education will ensure that we are abreast with what is happening in the world outside. I think I've covered almost all the focus areas which were left now. Then they are also focusing on creating a dedicated unit for building a world-class digital infrastructure, educational digital content and capacity. And how will it happen? It will happen by strengthening the Central Advisory Board of Education. And of course, the state government and the central government will have to work hand in hand to ensure that technology or whatever changes that are being brought in are reach everywhere, anywhere and everywhere rather. So the timelines, as already put, there are a few things that will come by 22-23, by 25-26, by 30. So I will very, very, very quickly, just give me 5 minutes, where I'll tell you what are the new features that have been introduced in the policy. First is the preparation of schooling and elementary schooling level, which again Aarti's touched upon. Then the school infrastructure and resources. So there will be special education zones. Utilize unused capacity of schools as Samajik Chetna Kendras. See, I think a few years back, there was this idea floated, whereas the private schools were asked that whenever you are not working in the non-working hours, your grounds could be used, your buildings could be used. So that is also a part of this. Then holistic development of the children, where again there are innovative pedagogies to be explored as experiential learning already, holistic report card, which Aarti again talked about. Then inclusivity, as I said, it would include all strata of society. Then assessments, which again she's talked about, and curriculum and pedagogical framework, that 5+3+3+4, which again has been discussed. And the teacher recruitment, which I told you would be again, a teacher while doing her B.Ed would be also exposed to different, I could say, regions, where she would be expected to go to maybe villages and teach there. That would be a part of the internship, which again is in the pipeline. And of course, the role of government, as I said, the center and the state need to work together. And we all, as teachers, I think it's a beautiful policy that has been framed, keeping everybody and anybody in mind. It does not isolate anyone. It takes everyone with it. So thank you so much. I hope I've been able to very quickly throw some light on the other side of the MVP. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhriti ma'am, and thank you, Aarti. It was really wonderful listening to you. And coincidentally, today morning, Prime Minister also shared his views on the new economic policy. I have jotted a few points for the benefit of the audience. I am just going to share it with you. The Prime Minister rightly said that this policy aims at encouraging creativity. So he says that there is going to be better content development through new education policy. Mindset will be developed for futuristic technology through new education policy. Dignity of labor will be ensured through education, which had lost in past years. Higher education has been freed from stream system. These points have been covered by both the experts, but still I'm just, summarizing. Old education policies emphasized on what to think, but new education policy emphasizes on how to think. Strengthening foundation through mother tongue is a high priority. Another priority of NEP 2020 is Jad se lekar jag tak, as quoted by the Prime Minister. The focus on making our children global citizens is going to be of prime importance. New global standard for education is getting ready for necessary transformation. Innovation and adaptation value should start from the institutions itself. Empowering institutions through autonomy. Good quality education providing institutions will get reward and incentives. Teachers play a very, very important role in empowering students. So special attention has to be paid to the dignity of teachers. When a teacher learns, a nation lives. Teachers should continuously upgrade their skills. So my dear teachers, a lot of focus is on teachers' professional development, continuous professional development. And it is a big opportunity for all of us to join and make a big difference. And in this last year also, when the draft new education policy had come, GPSC had convened a meeting. We all had discussed it, shared our points and put it forward to CBSE and MHRD. Now also we have conducted this webinar for the benefit of all the teachers and the schools of GPSC, so that I know we could not cover it in detail, but still the point was to highlight the main issues, main concerns, so that you go to the details and learn again. And maybe after a few weeks, we can have another session where, understanding would be better. Because today was the first session, you just got an introduction. Now you would be going through the document. And once we meet again after a few weeks, again on the same topic, I would feel that I would have more questions, better understanding, and we will be able to incorporate new education policy in the true letter and spirit. Thank you so much. Thank you all the panelists, and thank you for this being with us here, this wonderful audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone. I thought there'd be some questions coming our way. It's okay.